You want me on the screen? Okay, bonjour, hi, bon après-midi tout le monde, good afternoon. So my name is Marc-André Leclerc, so I will be your moderator this afternoon. So thank you everyone to be with us today. So we are about to have our leader, Rona Ambrose, on the line to talk about the next convention. So as you know, the convention is happening in May, very soon, May 26, 28. So if you want any information about the convention, please visit our website at cpcconvention.ca. So please, we are going to move forward very quickly. So now let's see if we have Rona with us on the line. So.
Hi, Marc-André. How are you?
Hi, Rona.
Hi, everybody. It's Rona here. It's great to be with all of you. Thanks for joining me on this Google Hangout. I really wanted to get a chance before convention to talk to some of our youth about the importance of being at our convention and about how excited I am to make sure that your voice is heard loud and clear. La présence de jeunes délégués actifs et engagés au Congrès de cette année est réellement essentielle pour notre parti. L'un de mes principaux objectifs durant le Congrès consiste à montrer au Canada la puissance de la prochaine génération du mouvement conservateur. So your voice is so important at convention. Your attendance at convention is critical to show Canadians and really show all of our members across the country that we have such a strong movement in our youth. And I wanted to give you a little bit of insight about what will happen the first 2 days of convention. We've got a jam-packed agenda. And on the first night, the Thursday night, we have something really special. We're going to have a tribute to 10 years of good government. And then we're going to have a big thank you to former Prime Minister Stephen Harper, who was a great leader for us for all of those years. And I'm happy to tell you, you guys are the first to know this, but we are actually going to make that event free for any member of the party. So I really encourage you to get that message out and share it with all of your young friends that are members of the Conservative Party, or if they want to join, buy a membership, they can come for free to join us in what will be a great celebration to thank Prime Minister Stephen Harper and all of the good work that he did over the last 10 years. Make sure you follow us on Snapchat. It's rona.ambrose, and of course on Facebook, and share all of that, those social media addresses with your friends. But it's great to be here with all of you, and I look forward to taking any questions that you might have. Back to Marc-André.
Yeah, thank you, Rona. So, all right, so this is a great news about Thursday night at convention. So, wow, so thank you very much for this great news this afternoon. So, we have several participants today. We have a few questions for you, Rona, today. So, we will be taking some questions from the Q&A pane as well. So, let's get started. So, first up, we have Nikita. So, hi, Nikita. What is your question for our leader?
Honorable Rona Ambrose, one of the things that I like the most about the Conservative Party, like many other people, is that we don't have a youth wing. You know, we are full voting members of this party. However, in the past, I have heard that there's been attempts to change this policy. Now, what is your thoughts on this issue?
Well, thanks, Nikita, for your question. You're right that it's always been a little bit controversial in our party, the issue of a youth wing, mostly because exactly what you said, a lot of people who have grown up in the Conservative Party, and actually a lot of them are members of Parliament today, really felt strongly about the fact that our party gives youth the same privileges as any other member. So we hear the term, we don't want sandbox politics, because we don't want to have a separate wing where we're not taken seriously and we don't have an equal vote at convention and don't have an equal voice on policy. So I think really at the end of the day it's up to the youth. But you know, if there's some way that the youth can be more actively organized amongst themselves and connected across the country but not lose those privileges, then you know that might be something to look at. But one of the things I've always said is it's up to the youth. The youth are the ones that should be speaking on this issue. So I encourage you at convention, if this comes up, get up to the mic and speak, because I always say to the guys in our caucus, look, you guys aren't youth anymore. It's not up to you to make these decisions. It's up to the youth. So that's a great question, Nikita. I think it'll continue to be an issue, but I agree with you. One of the fundamental things that I don't want to see eroded is that those privileges, those equal standing privileges that youth have with every other member. And I think that has actually led a lot of people that started out as youth, and they were taken seriously, their voice was taken seriously, and whether it's Pierre Poliver, Andrew Scheer, Garnet Genus, Shannon Stubbs, I could go on. We have so many young MPs that are now sitting in the House of Commons that really started being active in our party, and they were taken seriously right off the bat, and I think that really made a difference for them.
Thank you.
Good. Merci, Rona. So thank you very much. So next up, we have Daniela. So, hi, Daniela. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Rona. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this event. I'm really happy to see you doing this kind of event because I think that it's really key that we conservatives reach out to a younger demographic if we're going to win the next election. And I just really wanted to ask, what else do you think that the Conservative Party could do to win over the youth vote?
Well, I think that, I look at the youth that are here asking good questions about equality of voice at the convention. I know that youth care about the future of this country. They care about human rights issues. Now, these are all issues that we take very seriously. We've taken very principled stands and policy stands at our convention on these kinds of issues. These youth care about these issues. They care about fiscal issues. They care about wanting to make sure there's still a strong economy for them, and that we don't have a situation with the Liberals where they've spent so much money that we erode our social safety system, that we're paying such high taxes, that it's a drain on our economy. So I think really our policies are sound. We need to talk about the things that youth care about, but we all care about those things as conservatives. We need to, I think, focus a lot more on making sure that our environmental policy is policies that youth can relate to, and that is something I think that we'll be discussing at convention, and I'm happy to see that happening. But at the end of the day, I think really we need to communicate with young people, just like we're doing right now, whether it's through Google Hangouts, through Snapchat, through Twitter, through Facebook. We have to actually focus our message to youth and make sure they know we are speaking to them, we want to hear from them, and our message is a good one, and I know it'll be well received. So I ask all of you to make sure that you share all of that with your friends and invite them to come to convention. This is a great opportunity. If they're a member, they can come on Thursday night for free. It would be great to have as many youth there as possible to see how much fun we can have and how our party has always taken principled stands on the issues that matter to all of us.
Good, perfect, excellent. So thank you, merci beaucoup.
Thanks, Daniela.
Merci beaucoup pour cette question. Next up, we have a question from, and sorry for my French accent, so Arcade.
Yeah, it's hard curate.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Hi, Rona. Thank you so much for being here today. I was a former CPP intern, and throughout the program, I learned so much about community involvement and activism, and this has inspired me to start an own charity in my own home riding. So, however, our party is always wrongfully criticized for not giving opportunity for young people. Why do you think our party's mentorship of young people is not widely known? And will there be recognition of these youth initiatives at our convention?
Absolutely. Thanks, Harkeet. Can I ask you what kind of charity that you started?
Yeah, it's not-for-profit, so we're basically trying to get the young people involved, and also so we have sporting events for them because a lot of kids like to do that. And to reach out to also the homeless and people in shelters. I'm planning to do some clothes drives and food drives for the people at these shelters. So anything I could do to help.
Wow, that's fantastic. I'm really proud to hear that you're doing that and that you learned about those kinds of values when you were doing your internship. You're right, there's lots of opportunities, and many of our young people, including many of our members of parliament sitting in the House of Commons, actually went through the internship program. And not only do you learn, campaign ideas, how to communicate well with Canadians, but you also learn about the compassionate values of conservatism. And let's face it, conservatives, whether it's people of faith or people that care deeply about their communities, they're compassionate people. They work in their communities. They're more often than not volunteers, and they're community-minded, family-minded, and these are the kinds of values that are all about the Conservative Party. So I'm so glad that in the internship program that you learned about that. And the internship program's been really successful, and it gives people a renewed sense of confidence to deal with these kinds of issues. It's fantastic that you went back to your hometown and started a non-for-profit. Congratulations, and I'm glad to hear that that great work came out of that. But I think that's important because our party and our programs, like our internship program, can't just be about, come to work and, here's the paperwork you need to do to help out a local, a member of parliament. It also has to be about our values and imparting those values to our next generation of conservatives. So thank you for that and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rona. So, merci. So, donc, la prochaine, on a une quatrième question. So, our next questions come from Marisa.
Hey, Rona. Nice to see you again.
Hey, Marisa.
I actually have a question that isn't related to the convention. I've always believed it's important for youth to take the lead on outreach within their communities. What would be your advice to young people looking to start spreading conservatism among their peers and communities?
Thanks, Marissa. Well, I would say, look at what Harkeet is doing, and that's a great example. I mean, he's taking conservative values and really helping his community with them. When you think of conservative values, I mean, it's about not always turning to the government because, frankly, there's a lot of things that governments are not good at doing. And starting a non-for-profit, supporting people in his community, he learned that from the internship program, and really probably what it did is just underscore the values that he already had as a compassionate conservative. So I would say if you want to get involved, there's lots of ways you can do that. You can get directly involved in a non-for-profit, but to help the conservative movement build, which is what we really want to see our young people out there in our party do, get involved with the local EDA, with your local electoral district association. Lots of times there's people that sit on these boards that are business people, heads of non-for-profits, local people, local political people in the community. They've got tons of experience, tons of knowledge, and they're great mentors. So not only will you get an opportunity to be mentored by fantastic people, but you'll also be helping the Conservative Party of Canada. That can lead to a position on the board. Run to be a member of the board, and it's a great opportunity to put on your CV that you were a director of a board. That's a huge learning experience. It looks great on your CV, and you'll learn that leadership quality. And then furthermore, start to get involved in the party's policy process. Bring your good ideas to convention and speak out. Submit policy ideas and resolutions. So there's so many ways in which you can get involved. Our party has always been so open to people getting involved at the grassroots level. I mean, let's face it, we are the only party in this country that still has a grassroots democratic policy resolution process where policy is actually developed by regular Canadians and members, and it goes through the process and voted on by everyone at convention. And we should be really proud of that. So that's an open door for anyone, any young person to come forward and have a voice and maybe change policy in the Conservative Party, bring forward some new ideas, and we welcome that. Thanks for your question.
Good, excellent. Excellent. So maintenant, on va aller avec une question en français qu'on a reçue en ligne. Alors, la question de Sophie est la suivante. Notre parti compte de nombreux jeunes enthousiastes qui donnent leur temps aux équipes conservatrices locales. Comme vous le savez, ces efforts peuvent être éprouvants et peu gratifiants. Je pense qu'il serait génial pour le parti de reconnaître les efforts faits par les jeunes.
Oui, je suis content d'entendre cette demande, Sophie, et je suis absolument d'accord. Lors de chaque congrès, notre parti remet des prix de la feuille d'érable pour reconnaître les efforts de nos jeunes membres dynamiques locaux. Maintenant, ces efforts sont plus importants que jamais. Nous avons une approche réaliste aux besoins de notre parti d'attirer davantage des gens. Si vous connaissez des gens qui font de grandes choses, signalez leur nom à l'attention de votre équipe de circonscription locale, examinez leur candidature pour un rôle plus important et assurez-vous de reconnaître leur pour les bénévoles. Les petites marques de reconnaissance font une grande différence. Merci pour votre question, Sophie.
Merci, Rona. Donc, next we have a question from Madison that's being submitted online. So here, voici la question. So Justin Trudeau is very popular right now, also with young Canadians. How do you think the Conservative Party can counter that popularity? Do the Liberals have any political weaknesses right now in your view?
Well, I think, well, first of all, I suppose I could do one-arm push-ups. Maybe that would make me more popular. I'm kidding. But there's lots of things in which we can work on to make sure that it's very clear that the Conservative Party is the choice for young people. Listen, in this last budget, the Liberals actually took away the tax credit for textbooks and education. So they just made, and in fact, some of the students' organizations are saying that it's to the tune of over $1 billion. They've just increased the costs of university and college education. So these guys talk a good talk. They say they care about youth, but in their first budget, they made going to school more expensive for young people. So that's, you know, I think we have to make sure we always point out these kinds of discrepancies, and really it's hypocrisy. It really is. Probably the most important thing that we can continue to point out is that the Liberals are leaving a legacy of debt for young people. And sometimes it's hard to understand that when you're still in school and you're not thinking yet about paying taxes and saving for your retirement. But I know a lot of you that are listening understand what I mean. And if you get to a point where you've got so much debt, and you see it in Ontario now, that you have to stop investing in good social services like healthcare and education, and you have to raise taxes to the point where people can't even open up a business and they can't save money for their own retirement. That's what we're seeing in Ontario. And these are the same guys at the federal level that we have in Ontario. They don't have any concept of good fiscal management. They're not thinking down the road. They're not thinking about the young people of today and how they're going to cope with all of this debt. And it literally is going to be on the shoulders of young people to have to pay this back. So we have to hold them to account. We have to make sure that young people understand how important it is to have a good fiscal economic plan for this country. I think we also have to hold them to account on their environment policy. I mean, everyone in this country cares about the environment, but I know youth care about it very deeply. And these guys are saying that they're doing all these new and different things on climate change, when in fact, they went to Paris and took our conservative plan with them. And they are still working on our plan. You know, ours is the plan that actually reduced greenhouse gases, and ours is the plan that actually firmly regulated almost every single industrial sector in this country to reduce their greenhouse gases. And yet we've seen nothing from the Liberals. It's just all talk. So, you know, young people are serious people. They want to know what the real policy is. And I think we have to hold the Liberals to account, and Mr. Trudeau. So far, all we've seen is a lot of talk from him. And it's important that we point out to young people that he's actually not delivering on these things. I also think that we have to communicate more directly to young people, just like we're doing right here, right now with all of you. We need to make sure that we're communicating. We're on a lot more social media. We're on Snapchat now. Again, please make sure you follow me on Snapchat. It's Rona.Ambrose. We're on Twitter, Facebook. We have very active social media campaign, and that makes a big difference. And we also are listening to young people, like we are right here in this Google Hangout. We want to know what young people think. As I said, we're opening up our Thursday night at our convention, and it's going to be free if you're a member. And I really want to encourage all of you to invite all your friends that are conservatives to come, to listen, and also to be heard, and to meet some of the leadership hopefuls that will be there, to make sure they know, if they're going to be the next leader, that they listen to what young people are thinking about and what they're passionate about. So thank you so much for your question. Appreciate it.
All right, so we have another question here from someone online, so from Joe. So here's the question. So what do you think has been the biggest change in the Conservative Party since the October election?
Well, I guess there's been some changes. We have a new interim leader. Mr. Harper is not our leader anymore, and that's a big change. But we really appreciate everything he did for us. He left us an incredible economic legacy in this country, having created over 1 million new jobs in Canada, leaving us with a balanced budget, with a surplus, leaving our country in great financial shape. And that is a legacy that we owe him a huge, huge debt of gratitude for. We are now the opposition. That's obviously a big change for us after being in government for 10 years. But we have a strong, strong group of MPs, 98 members of Parliament from across Canada that are smart and competent and eager, and they're doing a fantastic job in the House of Commons holding the government to account, which is the job of the opposition party, a job we take very, very seriously. We're also working very hard to make sure that we're communicating more through our social media, and we're doing that. We've seen a lot of increased pickup in people following us on Snapchat, on Twitter, on Facebook. We're using those kinds of mediums to get our message out to more Canadians. And we're also making sure that at this convention we have as many people that can come forward to celebrate the great legacy of Mr. Harper, but also our youth. We are doing a lot around this convention to make sure youth understand the important and essential place that they have in the Conservative Party. So thanks for that. I think it's all good changes. We have a proud history, very proud history, and we're proud of the changes we're making, and I'm really optimistic about our future.
Good, excellent. Donc, nous avons maintenant le temps pour une dernière question. So, we have time for one more question here. So, this is from Scott. So, the question. Rona, you say you are definitely not running for permanent leader, but having now served as leader for the party since last fall, what qualities do you think our next leader needs to have to be successful, not just for the leadership race, but in the general election also?
Well, first of all, they have to be a conservative, and that's key. And I expect they will all be conservatives that are running for the leadership of our party. Listen, this is really an amazing opportunity for anyone who cares deeply about the Conservative Party, conservative values. It's a fiscal conservative that believes in low taxes and free trade, believes in compassionate communities. This is a great opportunity. Our party is in great shape. The conservative movement, listen, we had over 6 million Canadians vote for us in the last election. We have a strong team of 98 people that are incredibly, incredibly committed to the conservative movement. Anyone who comes forward to run for this leadership has a great opportunity. I think we need to have the kind of leadership that will resonate with our members, and I think I'm curious to see what will happen at convention, because we're going to have a number of people, as you know. Dr. Kelly Leach, who's a brilliant physician and member of Parliament, former minister, has already declared to be a candidate. She will be there. Maxime Bernier, who's a former Minister of Foreign Affairs and Industry, obviously a very large presence in Quebec and across the country. He's running. He will be there. And we'll have a lot of other people who are thinking about running coming to convention. And you'll get a chance to hear from them. So I really encourage you to do that. You know, we need somebody that can carry our message in a way that resonates with Canadians from coast to coast to coast. This is a time for us to really think about where the direction of our party is going to go. We've had 10 years of incredibly good government with Mr. Harper, and incredible governance of our party. We're now going to pick a new leader going forward. It's an exciting time, but it's up to the membership. Don't forget that. If you cannot vote for the leader unless you have a membership and you're a member in this party. So take that very seriously. Make sure you come out, meet all of these great people, and then make your decision from there. Thanks for the question.
Okay, great. So this is unfortunately all the time that we have today. So I would like to thank all our participants, everyone who submitted a question online, and of course, Rona, I would like to thank you for this hangout today. So merci beaucoup, Rona, pour cette journée aujourd'hui. Également, je remercie tous les participants d'avoir participé aujourd'hui. Vous pouvez trouver plus d'informations sur le congrès qui s'en vient au www.cpcconvention.ca. Donc, you can find more information about the convention. So please check out cpcconvention.ca. So, un gros merci. So, thank you very much. So, see you soon, I wish, in Vancouver.
Thanks, everybody. See you in Vancouver.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks.